this is just mean to start.
Yeah. This is just say stuff.
Live from the 2026 Dinner Party Awards. Did you know there were Dinner Party Awards?
I was not included in the dinner party.
Where Jeff Sonnenfeld just won 2 top categories.
What are they?
The man nobody wants to sit next to.
Oh.
And the man who will name drop 15 Fortune 500 CEOs before the appetizers arrive. That's a category?
Wow. Not only that,
so
it's
niche.
3%. It's 3% of the Fortune 500 that he's name dropping.
It's a Business Pants Friday show here at July 10 Studios featuring analyst Hull Matt Moscardi. Yeah. On today's weekly wrap-up, Zuck sells crack, James Dolan is still creepy, and a billionaire lectures people part 458,000.
Oh, that sounds like another classic episode we have lined up.
Actually, it does sound like a lot of our episodes. Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics and FreeFlowAnalytics.com.
Love them.
The only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free. We are now daily spending a lot of time in the new beta version of the platform. No joke, it actually exists.
It's insane.
Some of our listeners, in fact, actually have access to the beta version. This thing is fantastic.
I don't think people not to kiss their butts or anything, but they have this scenario model section where like you pick a company and then like pick a scenario, and the scenarios are like, met Jeff Sonnenfeld and he said you were laser focused.
That's not
Is
true.
Your board ready for it?
Actually, that is kind of true. Actually,
it's kind of true.
Sort of true, yeah.
It's not true.
Does anyone know what we're talking about? Probably not.
No, it's old school.
How many people in our audience have heard of Jeff Sonnenfeld?
Anybody who's listened to this show for more
Probably
than
has.
2 years. Yeah, probably has. But
You ready to go?
yeah, let's just do this. All right.
It's sweaty. I had to turn off my cooling device.
I know. We have no HVAC anymore. New system gets installed next week, so I'm hot.
That's why you're basically naked over there.
Yeah, otherwise
Keep wondering.
I'm just too hot. It's too hot.
Story of the week. This is a weird week. I didn't know. I kind of like what I picked, but I didn't really know how to pick. The first one was the only one that was super obvious. Social media's big tobacco moment. Although they've been saying that for a while, but here we go.
Every week is that.
Meta faces $1.4 trillion fine for allegedly fueling teen suicide and addiction. I mean, if they are fueling teen suicide and addiction, that seems like an appropriate fine to me. Those are bad things. Now, here's the most interesting thing about this lawsuit, and maybe more than any lawsuit that we cover in this space. They're being sued by 33 U.S. states, led by California, Colorado, Kentucky, New Jersey. Now, I did the math. I looked at all the states. I did the math. 12 blue states, 12 red states, and 9 purple states. So this is completely...
That's all the states. That's everybody.
Completely divided. This is the country hates what Mark Zuckerberg is doing at Meta platform. I mean, and it's not just the attorneys general at these states. I mean, it's just like poll after poll and different institutions and research and even the European Commission. Everybody hates what Mark Zuckerberg is up to, and he must be good at it because the dude is really, really wealthy. He must be really good at addicting people, right?
Well, not everybody hates it because
I've watched The Wire. I know how this works when you make an addict. I know how the drug kingpins, I know how they get rich. I get it.
I'm just saying not everybody's pissed because the stock is up this year. So
that's
not everybody. Not everybody's pissed.
And shareholders always approve everything at Meta Platforms. So I know it's mostly Mark Zuckerberg, but he likes what's going on.
He loves what's going on.
Yeah,
Mark Zuckerberg loves Mark Zuckerberg. That is for sure.
And according to an op-ed I read in Fortune magazine, we should be thankful that we have dual-class companies like Meta Platforms where Mark can drive people to suicide and addiction.
Without whom would we have education? Would we have nonprofits? Right.
As Jeff Sonnenfeld argues in Fortune, that a good dual class owner like Mark Zuckerberg could be really good for long-term shareholder value. That's really that's really cute. That's really cool.
Let's come back to Jeff Sonnenfeld because I added him just to trigger you. Yeah.
The states allege that Meta deliberately designed Facebook and Instagram to be addictive to children and teens, fueling a youth mental health crisis. I like how this like throw-in doesn't even really matter, but it does, but it doesn't feel like it matters. They also accuse Meta of violating child privacy laws by collecting data from children under 13 without parental consent. That was like a throwaway.
Yeah.
So the fines essentially are the equivalent to the company's market cap, which I think is appropriate, but that's just, of course, my opinion. I love that Meta called the penalty outlandish and unsubstantiated and said that, this is the quote, a sanction of that size has no analog in the history of consumer protection enforcement, basically saying, well, there's no precedent for this kind of fine. Well, there's no precedent for a dual-class company like yours, like running roughshod over our culture, Mark.
Well, they did take issue. I love that, like, if this was an investor day, they'd be talking about how many users they have. When it comes to the size of the penalty, the states counted the teens and they multiply the penalty by the number of, like affected users. And Facebook said, no, you're double and triple counting the teen users. You're
That's
just
the problem, it's the counting.
So on the investor day, it's like, we've got more than you could possibly imagine. But on the day when they have to pay a fine, they're like, no, that way overestimates the number. Come on, dial it back.
I'm researching this article and I see another thing in our headline. I think you actually captured this, dude. I see another headline pop up where Mark Zuckerberg literally said, "I don't think I'm ever going to stop." He says even with infinite money, he has no plans to retire. Yeah. Oh, great, Mark. That's wonderful. Why don't you stop? Why don't you stop? Anyway,
He could. At
the same time, in the EU, Meta is found to breach EU laws. Instagram and Facebook's addictive designs have put Meta in breach of the European Union digital laws, violated the EU's Digital Services Act by failing to adequately consider the risks associated with design features, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing that the states are alleging. Yeah, so now we actually have,
so
overseas.
All the laws just agree, all of them.
Okay, that's the first story. That's the big story of the week, according to me. I'm not voting for that. I'm just saying that's one of the big stories of the week.
The trial happens in August, so there'll be more to come on it.
Second story, speaking of how do we deal with shit, right? The second story really interested me. And God, it wasn't that long ago. What was her name? Jacinda
Arner.
Harden? What was her name?
Jacinda.
She was like this great young
Ahern,
progressive prime minister over in New Zealand. Now they've gone completely MAGA and they're all over to the right. So, I mean, it makes me feel slightly good when I realize that it's not just the United States that is swinging to weirdos on the right. But here's the headline: New Zealand moves to ban climate change litigation. New Zealand has proposed a bill to limit the ability of individuals to sue high greenhouse gas emitters over the impacts of climate change. So they're not going to allow the victims to sue the companies, but they say it's up to us. It's up to the government. We'll take care of the fines, which, I don't feel too comfortable with. But so anyway, so you kind of have these two movements going on, right? You have the right-wing governments, we're seeing here in Trump, are doing everything they can to get rid of regulation or allowing people to fight against the companies. In fact, we even have blowhards writing op-eds in Fortune magazine saying, hey, we shouldn't touch these founders and CEOs. We have to leave them alone. They're curing diseases, right? They're taking care of poverty. So
don't touch the founders. Yeah.
And New Zealand is saying the same thing. Yes, they might be killing us, but we love going through the drive-through lane at McDonald's in our stupid car. We love.
My favorite thing is spending 45 minutes on Netflix looking for something to watch. So you can't possibly stop that.
I actually saw a headline about Netflix saying that they're troubled So the second season of a lot of their shows is not it's not like addicting people like the first seasons. They have the data. People are they're just not engaging in the second season, and they're worried. They're like, we're not hooking them right. So but now
the
they're
drug
thinking,
isn't working.
Right. So now they're thinking, what if we add live TV? Like, we have to figure out how to keep these idiots watching this thing.
What if we add live TV? We're just going backwards with everything. I would say that the Prime Minister of New Zealand was the CEO of Air New Zealand. So I don't think he's...
Wait, what? That's true?
Yeah.
Oh, I completely missed that.
He's in our database.
Oh, I completely missed
Christopher Luxon.
Wow, so it really is a
it's
CEO's
all come together
rule
it's
moment.
Just, it is. It's just all
and
come
really,
together.
Donald Trump has always been like a kind of a fake CEO. He represents he's never actually risen to the top of a publicly traded corporation.
Are you the CEO if all you do is sell shit with your name on it, but it's not really one organization?
Well, that pillow guy, what's his name? They call him a CEO.
Oh, yeah. Mike Lindell. Yeah.
They call him a CEO. All right, that's the second story of the week. Okay, now we get a little bit better. The third story of the week. I felt like I wanted to highlight. I had this in good list, but then you know what? I thought this was worth highlighting. So, all this year, I keep pointing out stories where judges are reversing horrible, stupid acts. In fact, there's one I didn't pick this week in Florida. Ron DeSantis' stupid Stop Woke Act was struck down by a Trump-appointed judge who said, "You basically, this is defying the first. There's the First Amendment. Like, the colleges are allowed to teach about black people. Like,
it turns out they can say and do what they want.
Yeah, they can talk about slavery. So, and I keep making the point this year that when I look in the article, it's always a woman, and in that case, it was a woman, right? It was in Florida. Again, a Trump-appointed judge. So this is not just a Democrat versus Republican thing. But now, so that's why I wanted to highlight this story. The headline is the women who wouldn't let climate data disappear after losing their jobs at National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
NOAA, yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca Lindsay, her sister Mary, and colleague Anna Eshelman teamed up to rebuild the resource. They took the data, they took it offline, and they essentially... preserved over 15 years of key climate data and resources on a new website. The woman who's the main woman here, Rebecca Lindsay, was one of the 280,000 federal workers fired by Elon Musk and Donald Trump at the beginning of the administration, and there are numerous.
She was the DEI hire.
Yes, there are numerous reports. I was looking at an article today in the Washington Post citing that the largest proportion of these firings were, as you pointed out, women and people of color.
Yeah. The D.
So they preserved all this data. The data trove includes key maps, educational materials, climate indicator reports, and includes the now deleted fifth National Climate Assessment, the government's most comprehensive analysis of climate change. That Trump tried to delete. I feel like it's an important story to highlight. They're heroes. They're data heroes. We don't have a lot of data heroes.
I love a good data hero.
Right?
Yeah. I love this.
That's the third story of the week. And finally, the fourth story of the week is just a good old-fashioned corporate governance nonsense story, which I had to highlight because it's just so stupid.
Yeah, First of all, I saw this headline. I did not read it yet, though.
First of all, I just can't believe that sandwich companies are worth billions of dollars. It just drives me insane. I don't know. People can't make their own sandwiches, but that's not the point. Here's the headline. Jersey Mike's $12 billion IPO filing reveals a $50 million payday for the founder's stepson and a $41 million jet. So first of all, I don't even really get it. I went to Jersey Mike's once in Illinois, of all places, and it just had a lot of mayonnaise seeping out of the bag. I don't know. Who cares? But here's the story. Here's the corporate governance story. So first of all, this is a controlled company, right? So there's no shareholders other than Blackstone have no input at all. This is a Blackstone controlled company, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I looked at the board. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it an IPO then, or is it just Blackstone raising some money? Is this? What are we doing?
I don't know exactly. I'll call Jeff Sonnenfeld and ask him because he'll tell me what they're doing. So I analyzed the board. 8 members, 8 directors, 4 of whom are from Blackstone, right? So they control half the board.
Got it.
including Chair Nigel Travis, who's also the chair of Abercrombie and Fitch, right? One of the non-Blackstone directors is Fran Horowitz, the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. So you have the
at least we got a lot of failed clothing.
so you have the CEO and the chair somehow on this board. You also have the founder and former CEO and former chair Peter Cancro. He's on the board. And then your favorite, you always find this. They have a director, Cheryl Miller, who's a director on 2 other controlled companies. She's on Tyson Foods. And she's on Old Dominion Freight Line, which is dominated by the Congdon brothers. So they always do that. They always find directors who are just like on other controlled boards.
One of the things I asked Free Float to do in their next updated data is to flag every director who sits on a controlled board at any time, so that we could just see where they are. Because the fact is, like, it takes a certain personality to constantly say yes to the guy who runs the company and controls it, right? Like, so I want to know where they are, because those people just probably say yes everywhere they go, don't they?
You know, I wonder, we're like giggling about it, but I wonder if it's actually a little bit more, I don't know, more intelligent of a process. Like maybe these people, you know how like I watched movies as a kid, people used to have hooks for hands, like Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Maybe they have rubber stamps as a hand, and they're just like, that's just simplifying the whole process.
Doesn't like RoboCop, can you like unscrew his arm and put like, you just put the stamp on it?
So maybe that's why they're hiring them. Yeah, it's like hiring disabled people. I don't know. Okay, so
oh wow, that went sideways.
It went south fast. But okay, so this is what happens when you have companies like this, controlled companies with pointless boards. First of all, founder Peter Cancro last year, he got a lot of swag. They gave him a $41 million jet. Blackstone gave it to him, and they gave him $166,666.66 per month to operate the jet.
So he got the jet. They write him a check to operate the jet.
They gave him a $41 million plane, and they gave him that money. And he owns properties. He gets about $1 million in rent from the company, right? So he's getting rent money. But the best part is this: I haven't seen a list. I don't think I've ever seen actually a list this horrible. We always make fun of the nepo babies running the world, but family. This is from the IPO filing. Family members of founder Peter Cancro. And I love this line, were employed at Jersey Mike's in various roles. They don't tell you the roles. And there's no pun intended. There's no Jersey Mike sub role intended. But they don't tell you what they did. But here's the list. And I'm not going to tell you the names of the people. I'm just going to tell you their family designations. It's the founder's brother. Okay.
Yeah.
This is if you're keeping track at home. His
son.
His other son.
Oh, well, you got to get them both.
Yeah. His wife.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
His daughter.
They would have been sad if she was left out.
Yeah, daughter. Sister-in-law.
Now we're stretching.
Yeah, his brother-in-law.
How many in-laws do you have?
I'm not done. His other brother-in-law.
What?
And lastly, his stepson. Okay?
Wow. Oh, finally, stepson brought into the fold.
Combined over the last 3 years, these family members who were employed in various roles, again, not executive roles, because they would have listed that, just various roles. They did say various. Yeah. I quoted
Sandwich making among
the combined total here is $112 million.
Wow.
Yeah. His stepson alone got $51 million. His brother John got $21 million. And again, they don't tell you what the money's for.
Yeah, but look, the grand total is cheaper than like 3 jets. So he could have gotten 3 jets or employed a stepson.
So that's my fourth story of the week. The shenanigans going on at controlled company IPOs.
So my options are Meta's upcoming trial, basically.
What if this was the end? What if it like worked? What if it all worked and it like they literally find them out of existence? I know it's not going to happen, but what if we're on the precipice of something wonderful here?
They'll put them on a payment plan, and they'll pay it off by 2073.
With Klarna? They'll do it with Klarna. Because Klarna is aren't they trying to IPO? No, they just registered to be a bank, Klarna of all people.
Yeah, they want to be a bank.
Pay now, pay later. No, it's buy now, pay later.
Buy now, pay later. It's layaway. It's layaway, but in 2026 instead of, it's just a credit card.
And how was the trial? And envision the Meta trial too, where they're going to probably ask like, "Oh, I also read that you're trying to add like betting to your platform, like because they just announced last week that Mark is trying to add betting, prediction markets to the platform.
Yeah.
So like, how's that going to look?
In terms
It's
of
actual,
what, addicting teens,
right? I mean, anyway, go ahead.
The second story is New Zealand banning climate change litigation.
They say it'll pass. Nuts. They say it's poised to pass.
Well, the same prime minister, this Laxon, he actually repealed the ban on smoking for anyone born after 2008. Like you couldn't sell to anyone born after 2008, no matter how old they were, because they wanted to get rid of smoking in New Zealand. He made sure to repeal that, despite the fact that science says
that
you should definitely do that.
Yeah, that feels important.
The women who wouldn't let climate data disappear and Jersey Mike's IPO. Well, look, the Meta thing is really in August. I'm not going to call that the story of this week. It's like, so we can push that one ahead. The New Zealand thing actually is just a race to the bottom of all these.
It's like Dexit, right? It's like a Dexit race.
I think the lesson for investors and voters needs to be, when you put a CEO in charge of a country, they treat the country like they treat their companies, which is to say, we do what we want, we act like we have no bosses, and we do every trick in the book to maintain power. That is not a great combination when running a country. So I don't know that this is the story of the week. Why are people like? I mean, I've been joking about this Jeff Sonnenfeld op-ed piece in the Fortune. Why are we so afraid of checks and balances? Like, isn't that what it was all based on? Isn't that the democracy? We really hate a good regulation. We really hate a good level playing field.
We just celebrated the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So, what are we exactly celebrating here? If we're dismantling all those ideals, I don't get what we're celebrating.
If we are going to defend Pete and Cancrow's ability to hire everyone he's ever met and call it capitalism, and they built the empire and this is fair, but also castigate anyone who says we should have a level playing field so that everybody can get into that game, right? Mm-hmm. What are we doing? I'm not going to choose Jersey Mike's because that one is funny and that horrible way that all of this stuff is funny.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to choose the women who wouldn't let climate data disappear.
That's the right answer, actually.
That's correct.
It's a great story.
Not only is it a great story, it's a story that is as important every single day now as it will be 4 years from now when we desperately want that data.
That's true.
We need to celebrate more of that. That's like a goodliest.
Nice try, Elon. The women saved it, yeah.
Let's go to Goodliest. Speaking of Goodliest.
I feel like, are yours actually good?
I got into a good streak. No, I got into a good streak this week. Well, the first one is Meta. The headline is Meta buried research linking Instagram to teen harm.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to that.
Facing 1.4 trillion penalty.
No, I thought it was worse than buried. I thought they burnt a lot of it. It was alleged.
This is what the trial is going to do. That's going to be, forget the penalty, because they're never going to institute a penalty that wipes out the company. That would be so un-American that every politician on the right would get elected 50 times.
That would be like taking a 10% stake in Intel, like a publicly traded company, just because you're a bully.
It would never happen. No one would be okay with it. But the reality of this is the depositions, the filings, the testimony, those are all going to be amazing. It's going to be how deep and horrible the shit Meta does is.
Are we ever going to be convinced for people just to delete, to just move on?
I mean, if you heard that Meta knew that your use of their platform was addicting and Meta actually fed that, and then they stole all your data and used it to do other things. The number of headlines this week about Zuck were insane.
Yeah, that was almost my my story of the week, was just the nightmare of Zuck. But then I thought, I need to focus on one important story here.
Well, anyway, so this is one of my
you have some
of
them later, I think.
I have some of them later. Another good list. California versus Elon Musk. Tesla snubbed as new EV incentives boost Rivian and Lucid.
Yeah, tell me about that. What does that mean?
So California, because Trump repealed the federal subsidies, tax subsidies for electric vehicles, it was like $7,500 if you buy one.
Yeah,
which they repealed because obviously they were going to. California instituted their own, but California put caps on it. They basically said any car sold, new car over $50,000, which is mostly not Tesla, and any used car over $25,000, which is, again, mostly not Tesla, can get the California subsidy. But they also said you will get the subsidy regardless of the cost if you're headquartered in California. So Rivian and Lucid are in California, and Musk very famously in the last year and a half just moved everything to Texas because he said, fuck you, California.
Pissing on California, yeah.
He basically said, fuck you on his way out. So now California said, oh, really? Now, how about all your rivals get more of our subsidy money?
Yeah, I don't know much about Rivian and Lucid, but they look nice. They look nicer than a dumb Tesla, and they don't act like a hate crime or like a Nazi symbol.
haven't seen any Nazi posts from Lucid or Rivian.
Yet. Hopefully not.
That's what I haven't seen.
What else?
I have one more.
Yeah,
because I have so many, and
I have two.
It's ESG.
Okay.
This was the headline: Madison Square Garden kept a list of gay celebrities.
This is confounding. Why is James Dolan so creepy? What's happening?
So first of all, the headline's totally wrong. Everything about that, that's like a clickbaity headline to get you to click on it. The takeaway for me, because it's a week of data. The takeaway for me was Madison Square Garden, James Dolan, nepo baby, like
extreme
OG petty man baby, James Dolan.
His only track record, I was looking at his background, his education. His only real track record was that he was born to the right dad.
That's correct. That's all he's done his entire life. That's what he accomplished.
He did do that pretty well. I gotta give him
He
credit.
did a good job of that. Madison Square Garden, the company he controls and runs and stacks with board members that are all his family and friends, and he has them all on all of his entities. They maintain a database of the VIPs.
Yeah.
But not just who have gone to Madison Square Garden. Every VIP. And they label.
Yeah.
They just collect VIP information.
And they give them
in the database.
a subjective score.
They label them. They've scored them a risk score. 400 celebrities get a risk score.
Interesting.
And
Let me guess,
risk
a lot of
score,
low risk are white people, white dudes.
No, it's about how much they like or talk about James Dolan in a good way. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
If you're this is from the article. If you're a celebrity and you're marked with a risk score, even a low risk score, it means you've done something in the publicity world, the social media world, that has caught the attention of the wrong people. The source continued. Wrong people being James Dolan, as in James Dolan saw a post and said someone put that on the risk score.
Yeah, he famously has banned one of the all-time great New York Knicks, Charles Oakley, for criticizing ownership, aka James Dolan. They also, I learned, banned one of my favorite rap artists as a kid. I used to love Pete Rock and DJ Pete Rock and Seal Smooth.
Not
Pete
allowed.
Rock can't go.
Banned.
What a stupid petty billionaire this guy is.
I mean, can you imagine like what a and they actually in the article they talk about how some kid in Colorado, a 14-year-old kid, posted something and they sent police to his house.
No. What?
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
It's nuts. It's nuts. But they're calling it a talent database, and it tracks celebrities' race, gender identity, sexual orientation. In fact, 93 entries are marked as LGBTQIA.
What do you think that's about?
I don't care.
I don't get that last one.
Do you know that that's exactly what's in some ESG databases?
Yes, but what is that? I don't really get that one. Why does James care about that?
Because he like any pretense to get somebody banned or to it's amazing. Every CEO who decries data and ESG and regulation, This is not the first. We just talked about Peter Thiel has a ranking system to go to his
They all
dopey
have it.
conference,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We talk about these people, all they do is rate you, and they fucking hate being rated. It's amazing. It's the most hypocritical thing they do.
What is it? The 1776 Foundation. What is that right-wing organization?
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, the 1776.
They're involved with a lot of shareholder proposals. They have a list. Everyone has a list.
all
the
doing
anti-ESG proponents are now
ratings,
putting on ESG proposals on company.
Amazing.
AGM.
Those are my good list. I love that.
My two are a little bit more straightforward and quick and actually good. Amazon, Walmart, and other large companies could face new costs as New Jersey targets companies with Medicaid workers. So this has to happen everywhere. I mean, if your workers are getting any government benefits for anything, you should be paying
those
right?
workers. Yeah, that would seem to be the case.
Yeah, you should be penalized, paying the work, whatever it is. That you cannot rely on the government to make up for how cheap you are. And then finally, UBS. I just like this. This is a good antidote to the James Dolan story. UBS says rich people will be younger, female, and openly queer thanks to the great wealth transfer.
We've been talking about the great wealth transfer for 15 years. I'm actually skeptical that it'll ever get transferred.
I actually am too. In fact, I did see something that a lot of the great wealth transfer is just going to go to rich people's kids, like just that's nepo babies.
That's the transfer they're talking about. I actually have an alternate theory, which is they will give it to foundations directly, not their kids, and their kids won't be able to spend it in the same way they did, or they will be buried with it. I can just see a world in which Elon Musk is like, just put the money in my coffin.
Can I tell you what's great about data, though? I'm going to open up that story. Younger. So what's the figure? So they're talking about how young people identify as they're openly queer now, openly LGBT. Right? They're not hiding it anymore. 23. Okay. 23% identify as LGBTQ plus. Okay, this is the current young generation. Now, here's where data is beautiful. I just did the math, and I'm not kidding here. I just did the math from the data that you provided about James Dolan.
Yeah,
he marked 93 people of the 400 as LGBTQ plus. Right.
Right. Yeah.
That comes to the exact figure, 23%.
Wow.
It's the exact number.
It's magic.
Dolan's a genius. It's a great ESG genius.
ESG raters know that's the magic of data. It's the magic of the data.
It's gotta be one of my favorite dumb data moments of the year. All right, are we done with good list?
Can we now be more depressed? What's your good list?
I told you already.
California,
the number one.
Number one.
What's California? I don't care. Sure, let's have California.
All right, that sounds like a winner. Yeah. Let's go on to assholes. All right.
Okay, here we go. Brace yourselves.
I've got 3, but fortunately, we've talked about 2 of them, or at least alluded to them. First, I'm going to go with billionaire amplification. There were 4 headlines this week that just triggered me to say, shut the fuck up. Like, and I actually say that out loud as I'm reading these things. Like, I get so angry about it. But here's the first headline. Ken Griffin says everyone is misinterpreting the AI revolution and wishes Zoran and Bernie would read a damn history book for once.
This is great. I mean, you're talking about a guy who went to Bowdoin and a guy who went to the University of Chicago, and he's yelling at them to read a book?
Yeah. So here is
two of the most prestigious universities, colleges in the country.
I don't want to take it out of context. So
no,
go
ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't want to ruin you.
Capitalism is, and he's referring to capitalism here. Capitalism is the greatest success story in the history of humanity, Griffin said. Whether it's Bernie Sanders, whether it's Mamdani, he urged them to read a damn history book for once and then tell us how to run our country.
Yeah. Our country.
Like, in his praise of capitalism, he ignored all the parts about capitalism, like the slavery part of capitalism and the inequality part of capitalism. He just said capitalism is the greatest success story in the history of humanity. He offered no data. He didn't cite a book. but did say that they should get a book. I was just like, shut up. Why are we listening to Ken Griffin? Because he's rich?
I don't know. This is again. This is Fortune. I don't know. I think that I've now come to the full conclusion that most of the headlines like this are just to trigger free float media, because we're the only ones who pay attention to the business world.
I'm just so tired of, because you have a lot of money, I'm supposed to listen to your opinion more. I mean, look, like you said nothing with facts or evidence. You just said shit.
Yeah, Ken, if you're gonna say shit, so like if you're gonna exaggerate, be so hyperbolic, why don't you list 5 damn history books that we should get that will help us understand your point of view?
One damn history book that you read that supports your thesis of the world.
I mean, the history section is pretty big. Should I get the War of 1812? Like, what am I reading here?
Yeah, how far back do I go? Like the plague? What do I need?
Yeah.
All right. Then there was this one. Jeff Bezos, quote, made all of our lives so much better, says billionaire investor Tim Draper.
Okay. Now, before you get into this one, is he saying, when he says our lot, because Ken Griffin just said, don't tell us how to run our country, and I'm assuming he means the billionaire class. So is Tim Draper saying made our lives better, meaning like billionaire investors, like VC capital, like those kind of people? Or do they mean me? They mean everybody?
No, he does say, Draper said he has benefited from what Bezos has done.
I believe that.
But he said that after saying, quote, Amazon has made all of our lives so much better.
All of our lives. But again,
and those geniuses who create this incredible world for us are benefiting all of us.
But does he mean, when he says us and our, does he mean his buddies? Who's he talking about?
So it's unclear, but he's saying that 2 people in an audience. So I assume he's saying all of us, and it wasn't just billionaires in the audience. It was a podcast he was talking on.
It's funny.
Right?
You could probably, speaking of books, I'm sure there are already books written about this, but I can't imagine the size of the book of how many ways that Amazon has been bad for society you could write.
So bad.
You could read. I mean, anecdotally, the story you hear most in Portland, Maine, when you talk to people about, it's not a big city and there aren't like a ton of great jobs for like the working class, middle class. Whole Foods used to be a place that a lot of people would rely on as being, there was a good camaraderie, as a pretty good wage. People were pretty happy there, whether they're in transition, whether from other jobs, or whether they were working artists, whether maybe they made a career out of retail. I have not heard of a single place that gets more shit since Jeff Bezos bought Whole Foods. The morale, the anger, the people, like, they are so mad at the transition of working. So I just hear it all the time. So I don't know.
You don't even have to stop
it's
there.
My anecdotal.
Washington Post, Bezos literally said they were terrible people, and he fired them. Right? Like an icon of journalism. Yeah. All terrible people. Yeah. At Amazon, they're peeing in bottles. They don't get bathroom breaks. Right? Yeah. Like, what are we doing? We're saying he's made all our lives better because what? I got a rubber chicken faster in the mail. That's what made my life better.
Yeah. What else you got in this category?
What did Amazon do to make our lives better?
Can
we name 5 things?
I guess I would. I don't know.
It made shareholders' lives better.
Well, I was thinking like maybe there's someone in the middle of Nebraska who is like homebound and really needs toothpaste and could get that easily.
It used to be that their neighbor would help them out
in a
neighborly way and bring them the toothpaste. And then they'd sit down and have a conversation with that neighbor and they'd feel better about themselves because they had human contact. Yeah. Now a drone drops it in your fucking chimney.
Well, it's true. And you use AI to combat loneliness. Yeah. All right. Well, what else do you have in this category? Yeah.
2 more. 40 Epstein-tied billionaires have injected $1.6 billion into U.S. election, report finds.
Yeah, this is important. I mean, don't forget the Supreme Court just made it even easier, right, for billionaires to inject money into the election
process. What are
we
fucking doing? Why should we listen to them? Because they have so much money. And these are the millionaires and billionaires. Here's the other one. These are the millionaires and billionaires pledging to fund Trump accounts.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned this. I was actually gonna I shortlisted that story about. It got a lot of press that the what's her name?
Gwynne Shotwell. Yeah.
Gwynne Shotwell, the
CFO of
SpaceX. Is very publicly donating some shares. Of course, it's We don't really know how many shares. And
they said these $300 million worth.
$300 million.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a pittance of whatever. I was going to include the story as to hear, like, maybe there's some good to this. Maybe we should be praising this, but I couldn't be bothered.
It's always quid pro quo. It's not a donation for nothing. You're not giving something to the Trump administration without expecting a contract. 6 months from now, they're going to win a contract.
Not only that, but every time often when he touts these companies, he just touted Dell vociferously. The stock shot up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's all a game.
This is not the way to solve the crisis facing the lower and middle class in America by just donating to a Trump account.
Well, according to Bezos, he said this is the way.
It's not even.
He said you could tax me, but that won't solve the problem.
You have to opt into this account anyway. It's not it's not automatically given, right, to everyone who's born.
No, this is going to be all graft. There's going to be some mess.
Anyway,
all right,
what else?
Number 2, Zuck.
Okay, here we go.
All right, I'm just going to read the headlines, and I'll just read them one at a time. We don't have to stop because we already talked about Zuck, but everyone has been a week of Zuck.
Week of Zuck.
Meta AI data center contractor triggers biohazard scare after flushing rare bacterium into public sewers.
Now, could we sue for that in New Zealand?
No. That sounds like climate related.
It's climate related, right?
Yeah.
It's like EPA related. Yeah,
it's climate-ish. And I also saw that right before I saw this headline, Meta platforms to build $9 billion AI data center in Canada. So I love that I saw rare
Canada.
Bacterium next to, we're going to build another one of these things just in Canada next.
Sorry.
The $145 billion lie, Zuckerberg's leaked town hall audio exposes massive AI failures after mass layoffs, some of which you covered. Meta jumps into AI coding market in effort to chase Anthropic and OpenAI. Who in their right mind would be like, you know what? Who I want to have access to all my code? Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, because
he won't
been
steal
failing. He's been failing a lot recently at these ventures.
At everything.
Yeah. I do give him credit. He was smart to buy the attic machines of Instagram and WhatsApp. Those were really smart.
And steal the attic machine from the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah. What else?
I saw that headline coupled with Hollywood versus Zuckerberg. CAA warns Meta's AI image tool needs a major privacy overhaul.
Okay.
Mark, he's on that. Don't worry about it. Mark's got it. And then you mentioned this already. I don't think I'm ever going to stop, says Mark Zuckerberg, even with, quote, infinite money.
He said that?
No plans.
That's a quote? The infinite money? He said
money is
that?
a quote. Even with infinite money, he has no plans to retreat to his massive Hawaii estate.
What a mensch.
Well, the good news is someone can stop him. It's just not investors, the government, or anybody else. Mark can stop him, though. Mark
according
is there.
to an op-ed I read in Fortune magazine this morning, we shouldn't be trying to stop him.
All right, number 3. Let's go to it. And I added it literally 30 minutes before the show just to trigger you, and it's Jeff Sonnenfeld.
Am I the only one that gets triggered by this? Is there something wrong with me?
Well, here's the headline. SpaceX's super voting shares put a decades-old governance debate back in play.
No, it's not back in play. Believe me, but go ahead.
But the headline's pretty innocuous, right? Like, it's just kind of like, it sounds like a governance nerd, talking to a governance nerd.
Yeah.
But the whole article is you have to know who Jeff Sonnenfeld is. He is a Yale professor.
That's the most important part of him is the Yale
He's a Yale
part.
professor. He started the Institute for CEOs or something, it's like something like that. The Leadership Institute.
Where he awards CEOs for things.
Every year he gives out an award to the greatest CEO he's ever met. And every year he makes a point to throw a massive, massive party for the CEOs. They have a conference.
There's a lot of where there's a lot of revenue raised through advertising, and
it's just CEOs who go to the conference, and the CEOs include all the big ones. And he makes sure you know about it because he talks about how well he knows all these CEOs.
About it a lot. Well, he did win that award. He won that dinner party award. Yeah.
So he penned this article with his co-conspirator Steve Tian.
That's always the case.
Researcher.
In fact, they style themselves as the modern day Lennon and McCartney. I think that's what they call themselves.
I saw that somewhere. Yeah. I think he said he knew Lennon and McCartney, and that's why.
But he didn't know Ringo.
He could say that.
He's below him. Yeah.
Yeah. This whole article is in defense of Musk and SpaceX, but mostly it's in defense of dual class shares. But more than that,
it's really not about that.
Opposed.
Yeah, he's attacking somebody else.
He's attacking like the governance. He called them governance theorists. And here's his quote, the rigid formulas of proxy advisors create a perverse, socially destructive incentive. Hoard your wealth like an oligarch to maintain your good governance rating, or give it away and risk losing your company.
Think about that sentence.
None of that has ever happened.
Create a perverse, socially destructive incentive. So can I just give you a little bit of context of where that quote came from? He's suggesting that these governance, nerds, these wonks, that they're upset that the economic interest in the company doesn't match their voting power in the company, right?
Yeah, that's the basis of their argument. That one share, one vote matters.
So what he's saying essentially is that they wouldn't sell their shares because if they didn't have the dual class provisions, then they wouldn't even sell their shares to get the money that would help humanity, because then their voting power would dip below 50%. But since dual class shares are in place, they are able to sell a boatload of shares and still maintain majority voting power. And it's that they are saving humanity by doing that, and that the proxy advisors, by not letting them do that, are perverse, socially destructive, right? Because they're forcing them to hoard their wealth. The whole thing makes me mental. I don't know what he's talking about.
The fact that we have to deconstruct it this hard is
I know,
already
I didn't
a
explain
problem.
that well. Forgive me. Go read
but I
the
think
wonderful
it's this.
scintillating.
I think he's basically saying,
yeah,
in a world with dual class shares, you can actually get a bad governance rating, but you can spend your money because you can sell shares and make a lot of money. But
they're talking about
just
the founder and controlled.
Yeah, and the socially destructive incentive is that in a world that's all one vote, one share,
one vote,
you would have to hoard all your shares
to have the voting power.
To have the voting power and have a good governance rating, because it's one share, one vote. That's the only thing that's a good governance rating to him. The good governance rating is one share, one vote, and you hoard everything. And so then you don't spend anything and the system breaks. Or you sell shares and lose your company. And that's socially destructive.
Yeah, because we see that happening like basically never. But yeah,
but that's fine. Who the fuck is he talking to?
Yeah, I don't know.
This has never happened in the history of ever.
I am sure he could. What Jeff Sonnenfeld, you had the funniest line to me off air, which is I love an academic writing this, pretty like pithy, all these pithy statements, these hyperbolic theories without a single citation.
Not one academic citation.
Not one
from this academic in this article.
They're all just opinions. What Jeff is best at is he's thinking of like one anecdotal moment in the history of public corporations.
Yeah, one guy he talked to.
And that's kind of the basis of everything. But he doesn't even really cite that. It's just something in his mind.
But the one that triggered me, Sonnenfeld's name
Jeff.
Triggers you. Here's the quote that triggered me.
No, that's not fair. I actually read this before I got triggered. I didn't get triggered. Because I actually opened, because as you said, the title is innocuous. I actually opened it because I was interested in the subject.
And what it was going to be. Quote, the proxy advisors want a world governed by rigid mathematical formulas because auditing a checklist is easy. First of all, there's no math involved in what ISS and Glass Lewis do. Like, you have no idea that proxy advisors do if that's what you think, because that's not how it works. But going on, evaluating human character industry dynamics, track records of success and failure, and the capacity for visionary leadership is hard.
Yeah, that's
but it
like-
is exactly that hard work of judgment which is vital when it comes to dual class shares. It is time for the critics to step out of the theoretical vacuum and look at the real world scoreboards.
And by real world scoreboards, he just means the share price. Right?
Because if he meant anything else, you would have to concede that the real world outcomes of dual class dictators include thwarting democracy, hoarding wealth,
Oh, God. I wish
Nazism. Like it's the worst possible shit we did.
I wish Jeff Sonnenfeld was the lead lawyer on this meta case, because then all he would say is in defense is our share price went up.
The
and they
thing
would
that
lose.
triggered me though about that comment was evaluating human character, industry dynamics, track record of success and failure, and capacity for visionary leadership is hard, because this is the same Jeff Sonnenfeld that wrote in defense of ex-Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun that he was the man to lead Boeing out of the MAX 8 plane crisis that Dave Calhoun caused
Yeah, it didn't work
by
out
saying
too
he
well.
was laser focused on safety.
With no evidence.
He then went on to defend ex-CEO of Norfolk Southern, Alan Shaw, calling him laser focused on safety after the massive train crash in Palestine, Ohio.
That one was weird, because even I don't remember the proponent, there was an activist investor involved.
Ancora.
Even Ancora was like, wait, is Jeff being paid for this opinion? Like, where's this coming from? Like,
Not only that,
where'd this
not only did it
90-page report
seem-
come from? Why are
seem
you,
weird.
what are you doing?
But there was no, they cherry picked a whole bunch of evidence to say Ancora was wrong. And then Ancora won a majority of what they wanted from the proxy battle. And the CEO, then CEO Alan Shaw, was ousted because he was having sex with the head of legal at the company. This is the guy who said evaluating human character and the capacity for visionary leadership is hard, and that he is using that as an argument for why you shouldn't use data to do governance. You need to look at these things, but no one does that except for us, except for me, Jeff Sonnenfeld, citing no evidence and casually ignoring all of the failures of his in backing these things and every dual class dictator.
But Matt, you're missing the point. He works at Yale. He works at an Ivy League.
That's how I was missing the point.
I just kind of love.
Can
Can I just say I'm thrilled that I never had to have him as a professor,
look,
he's probably happy I wasn't in his class, because I would have driven him crazy. But I've never met an academic who's just so petty. I mean, he calls, and I could cite several lines, but I'll only cite one, referring to the mindless mechanical checklist of proxy rating firms, Glass Lewis. And he's constantly throwing out these barbs. Like, he's just like I don't really get it. I just don't get the industry that is Jeff Sonnenfeld. I don't get it.
So we get triggered because we use data to evaluate leadership, character, industry dynamics, track records of success and failure. Track records of success and failure is literally what free flow analytics does.
And you know the reason why we sweat this out to use data to do this? Because for 30 years, the ESG industry was hammered because we were told that all of your evidence is anecdotal. So where's the data? Where is the objective data? So we're providing that.
So we provided it.
Yeah.
But worse than this, I know Jeff Sonnenfeld. I should say I have met him. I don't know him personally, but I've met him. I went to give a lecture at his class. About ESG. Okay. He was on one of our very, very early podcasts. Jeff Sonnenfeld is a known entity. And since in the last 5 years, I feel like it's all totally off the rails. It's all anecdotes. It's all fist bumps. It's all bro culture, and the worst kind of bro culture. It's just the absolute worst. Anyway, those are your three. You've got billionaire amplification, Zuck, and Jeff Sonnenfeld.
This is assholiest of the week. I mean, come on. I mean, You want me to vote on this?
Yeah, I know what you're going to vote for.
But the problem is I don't want to vote for the thing that only I care about and only we talk about.
No, you're doing the asshole of the week. So, I mean, it could
Zuck,
be...
Okay, let's be clear. Zuck could not be of the week, right? I mean, he's probably in the category of the 21st century,
He does have,
right?
He has dual class shares in assholeness. Yeah.
But he's of the 21st century, like asshole of the 21st century, right?
Oh, okay.
And even I wouldn't put Sonnenfeld up in that category. I'm not a jerk.
Musk has got to be
of course.
that too.
Yes,
yeah.
of course, absolutely. Yeah. And Bezos, billionaire amplification. Again, it's like it's not. It does get me, but it's not a new thing, and it is the new clickbait of like the business world. And you're right to point it out, and you're right to be angry about it. But if we're really just going to go of the week. This op-ed from Fortune, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's got to be Jeffy Boy, right? Doesn't it?
Oh, Hefe wins! All right, let's go on to
let's move on.
Headlines, winners, predictions.
I'm sticking with the topic of the potential societal ruin created by AI, at least with our brains. Like maybe they will develop ways of like. You won't need a Band-Aid to when you have a cut because AI will solve that or whatever. But
I'm just hoping I can tell it to flush my toilet, like from rather than touching anything. That would be a feat.
But here's the headline: OpenAI wants a $1 trillion valuation, but college students are testing at the level of 10-year-olds. And the other headline is suspecting AI cheating. Ivy League professor ordered an in-person final. Scores fell 50%. That one does not surprise me.
Well, no.
Yeah.
What is this
and
generation
I know
doing?
Cheating is not new at universities.
But we've never been so dumb about it.
But I applaud this. This is actually your alma mater. I applaud this guy.
Oh, that was at Brown? Oh, wow.
I applaud him, though, for it's like, get your butt in here and take this test. Like, I'm sorry, but put your computer away, put your phone away. I don't know. I think our examinations going to have to be all like oral exams soon or like we have to watch you write. I mean, we used to write in a blue book, right? We write essays by hand. I mean, but we weren't allowed a single. We couldn't look up things. I don't know. I don't understand. I just applaud them for telling them to come in and take the dumb test.
Well, they used to yell at us when I tried to bring like a Walkman in because they were worried that you recorded the answers on the Walkman, and it was like I just want to listen to music. Okay, I guess.
And
not.
You know what the antidote to failing is? Studying,
doing some work.
I mean, it's really
fucking work.
And the professors they've given you like a very clear outline of the whole semester of how if you just stay ahead, you're gonna pass the exam. They've given you the formula.
But here's your big problem.
Yeah,
that you have a gap between what the professors are saying, which is you need to learn this, you need to do the fucking work, you need to think, and what the CEOs are saying when Alex Karp Jensen Huang are saying
your college education is pointless.
Your college education is worthless. You should be a carpenter and electrician. You don't need to learn any of the shit that they're teaching you. Just go learn how to screw in a piece of wood and attach two wires because that's all you're going to do.
Well, and not to mention we joke about it all the time, but the headline of Netflix like freaking out because they're not addicting people is it's an important headline. It's a serious headline because
it's real.
I'm old. I graduated college in the 90s. I didn't know a single person who had a TV or anything remotely like that in their dorm room. I didn't know a single person. So there were not behemoth market cap billionaires like desperate for my attention trying to addict me to shit.
Whose job it was to addict you to something.
They didn't exist. The only thing they had was cigarettes, really, like cigarettes and weed and beer. Like that was it vying for my addiction, right?
And it did a good job. It did a really good job.
And those things helped me study, frankly, and I got good grades. I don't know. All right, okay, let's get off of this. Yeah,
all right,
what's your
I got
headline?
two headlines. Here's one. Waymo takes revenge, dropping drunk teens directly into squad of cops.
I have mixed feelings about this one, but I like it and I hate it at the same time.
I guess when you get in a Waymo, there's a video camera in there and they're monitoring you.
I didn't know that.
And I guess someone
That's creepy as F.
Someone like occasionally they look in on it and they see all sorts of debaucherous behavior. But two 15-year-olds got in a Waymo with a bunch of alcohol and a bunch of guns, that shoot the little water beads. And they were roaming around in a Waymo, shooting people out the window and drinking. And so the Waymo dropped them off at the San Mateo Police Department.
If this is true, then I hope Uber should lose. There's a big class action lawsuit against Uber for not protecting specifically women against assault and harassment, from the drivers. Then if Waymo can fix it and figure it out, why couldn't Uber? Uber
those
couldn't
drivers
do this?
aren't employees. That's why.
Oh, right.
That's
Okay.
your
What else
problem.
you got?
The second one, West Virginia spent $3 million to create university program to fight woke ideology. One student is enrolled.
I'm surprised they found one. That's a way to not get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, is if you join that group.
I mean, isn't it? That's the fastest way. All right, who won the week for you?
Free Float's new platform.
Oh, we got the same winner.
Yeah. I was gonna sarcastically say Jeffrey Sonnenfeld, but we covered that enough. So I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
I spent some time with one of the creators of the platform this morning, and again, not many of you know me very well, but I'll say this: I don't give out compliments very easily. I'm helpful, I'm nice, I hold doors. It's hard for me to compliment. I don't laugh a lot at stupid TV shows. This platform is amazing. It's really incredible.
It's got a lot of stuff on it.
No, and I've spent years looking at data sets that cover corporations, that cover CEOs and board members. I've tried to find places that concate that collect news stories about these things, like current events. They don't exist. They suck.
Yeah,
they're out of date.
Well, now they do.
But this platform has it all. All right, I'm going to stop babbling and.
Well,
stuttering.
I have Free Float Data as the winner of the week, because I saw this headline: Elon Musk in the age of the corporate Leviathan, a report out of The Economist. It was an opinion piece out of The Economist, where they said, quote, above a certain size, the ordinary rules of governance apparently cease to apply.
Right.
And then went through a process to take the largest companies in the U.S. And said of the 16 listed firms worth more than $1 trillion, 7 are shareholder fundamentalists, meaning all they care about is shareholder value. Mm-hmm. Free Float says of the ones that they listed, multiple of them are actually just dictatorships, totalitarian. Yep. Next were corporate paternalists like the Berkshire and Google and Meta, and they're also totalitarian.
Right.
And then the final group that they said was destroying the end of the corporate governance was SpaceX and Tesla, which Free Float also has as Basically, what The Economist did is look at Free Float's data and said, wow, these companies are totally fucked. Did anybody notice this? Oh, they did. Because it's in the data. It's all in there. It was already in there for everybody to see. So nice of The Economist to recognize Free Float. What's your prediction for the week?
Jeff Sonnenfeld writes something in Fortune that triggers me.
That's funny because my prediction is Jeff Sonnenfeld writes something on Fortune that triggers Damien.
Yeah. It's going to happen again. I can't actually. Now I'm excited. Again. Now I'm kind of excited. You can never predict what his subject will be. I love the train one was the best.
That was so good.
The Norfolk Southern one. It came out of left field. That one.
I still talk about Dave Calhoun being laser focused.
Yeah, that was great. So it's
focused.
What's next? What do you think they giddily start the next one as soon as the?
I think they read the news that we read and
they
then
go
just
to the
say
newsstand.
the opposite.
They go to the newsstand. They buy 100 copies of Fortune. They leave it around their office, and then they giddily start the next piece, the next think piece.
That's all we got. That's Hazelnut Rallis. I'm your analyst, Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. If you want beta access to that Free Float platform, you can email Matt at freefloat.llc. Just reach out to us. We'll get you in. We have ins. We have invites to hand out, and people are actually using it. And the feedback that we've heard from the people who have used it is life-changing. It's if you do any governance work, if you just want to know the business news, if you want to make jokes, if you want to read the zine, it's all in there. So go get that. Otherwise, check out the crossover pod we did this week on Proxy Countdown
We did?
and Shareholder Primacy with Mike Levin and Ann Lipton.
That was
we talked
this
about
week?
2026 proxy season. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. Until then, goodbye.